Alright. Time lapse. Time lapse time. Cool. So, I thought I'd use this as a bit of an excuse to ramble on about productivity, about myself learning landscaping. I came into this pretty worried because I've done landscapes like this in the past, and I've been like, oh shit. Well, I mean, no, like this would be far from the truth. I think I've come into this without any help before. I did this alongside while listening to a tutorial, but in the past I've just been like, this is what I think a landscape should be like. I didn't use tools similar to this, and it made me pretty upset. Like with the end product, you know. It was kind of demoralizing, but as you go on, as you decide, hey, I want to be a little bit more productive, you you learn a bit more. You can see it's starting to look like a landscape now, or only just now. No, but it's cool, You grow and you learn. It's pretty sick. There's a lot of stuff to know with everything, with every task, and there's just one more task, one more bit of learning you can do. You can sell later. And you'll see we're moving on to flipping the image soon, so we can actually make sure our eye isn't tricking us and telling us, oh yes, everything's good, just because we've been looking at this version of the image for ages. But yeah, productivity. I've been listening to some videos recently, and as you go through young adulthood, you will be exposed to a lot of videos on productivity. I think the key to learning what makes you productive is to expose yourself to even more. Just keep listening to productivity streams, productivity videos, because every little chunk of advice that you really connect with gets stored in your brain. You just keep it. You keep reciting it over and over. It becomes part of who you are. Helps you a work ethic, and shitty jobs, and good jobs. It's good to keep learning, and yeah. No, for real. Yep, there's the image flip. And as you can see, at this point we're actually starting to get to a point where we can be like, oh shit, well, if I were to just show this to someone who didn't do art before, they'd be like, oh crap, that's intimidating. Whereas to me, I'd be wincing at this like, oh jeez. Like some people would consider this a finished product, and it's like, oh no, nah. When you actually get to the end as well, and once you see how it's all done, you'll be like, oh, okay, this isn't crazy, Time lapses do that a lot. They'll expose you to the inner workings and how bad or good something really is. I mean, it's not as deplorable as tracing, but actually, in some ways it is, But like, again, like whether or not that's actually a bad thing is honestly like it's what your employer cares about. It's what your client cares about. If you've done everything legally, then that's it. That's all that matters. Yeah, this waterfall's like the worst part. You'll see me like go back to this waterfall a few times and be like, oh no, how about this one? How about that one? I never quite got the waterfall. It just looks bad the whole time. Yeah. It's not great. Really ain't. Yeah, but no. I had fun doing this. It was good. This is my first proper landscape. We're chucking it up on good old DeviantArt, It's not gonna do much. It was just fun to do. Just like this video. Nice and fun to do. That's why I'm doing it. There's no chance it's gonna get any more than friggin' basic views. So, not that you should dwell on that. Don't dwell on the numbers. If you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters. Now we finally start to muck around with colour, because we've introduced colour. And for some reason, a very not level-headedly, just stick with cyan for ages. Yeah, you see that? All those cyan highlights? I'm just like, yeah, that's alright. I just try and make everything gross like that. I only just drew this, by the way. This isn't me freaking looking back at my work like a year ago. This is me being like, oh, this thing that I drew an hour ago. Wow, I was an idiot. But no, it was fun. It's good. No, it really is. No kappa. Well, I didn't really have anything written out for this. I just thought I'd dub over the time-lapse and chuck some free music behind it. Not that I plan to put on ads or anything. I just thought I'd ramble on. Running out of things to ramble about. I don't know what to ramble about. What should I ramble about? That was a pretty cool shot. I liked how they had that. A shot with bear. Should have saved that one. I really like that photo. It's photogenic. Not sure if it's real. I doubt it is. It looks like it's a... Oh, looks like it's about 5 different photos. It looks like it's essentially what I just did. Or what I am doing here. For the most part I was just like, alright. So I guess this is how it works. It's like a collage. Except, just mushing it all together. There's different things I didn't do that I was taught how to do. I should have done. But like, this was just learning the very basics, so I understand. Not sure how often I'd employ these tools, but like every time you use 1 or 2 tools, you generally remember it, and then some random point you pull it out of your ass, and you're like, oh, well, there's this thing, and someone will be like, oh shit, that looks alright. You'll be like, yeah, it does. You're right. Yeah. So that's not so bad. Oh man, I hate seeing fucking animals get warped. Just see that moose just then with his neck fucking snapped 5 ways. It was terrifying. It was my first time using this tool as well. So there's a lot of moments, unfortunately, where I'm jumping up and down, like looking at options for ages. I think there's a couple of P breaks in here too, so that'll be some of the big pauses. Like right here, I'm pretty sure this is a massive P break. Probably grabbed a potato out of the oven as well. I think that was a good exercise, you know, be able to do this, because I generally, whenever I go into drawings, I'm just like, oh yeah, character drawing, clothing, because I really enjoy that sort of stuff, like just creating a mannequin, putting on 50 different clothes options, and just being like, ah, I like them all. And then packing away Macromedia Flash or whatever I'm using. Not using it again for another half a year. Pulling it out again. Doing the exact same thing. Going in circles. Having fun, but going in circles. Not applying myself, not learning more. And here I'm learning more. Still, you can see that waterfall in the center is just the absolute eyesore. That mountain off to the left, it's not really... not put in there properly. Yeah, just learning. It's good that I'm making mistakes, and it's super important that I'm noticing them, you know? Because once you make a mistake once, and you learn how to do it correctly the next time, like, gosh dang. There's a lot of stuff that can't be explained very fast, that can be learnt physically very fast just by, like, trying things out. This is across so many different industries, not just drawing. But it applies to drawing as well. You can see I'm like fixing up the top of the mountain there. It's almost like I say fixing, but I'm more like deleting past work. I'm still not getting it quite right. Right at the end, I go over everything with a brush again. Just a basic fat brush, and it does fix up a lot of stuff. that's when it starts to get like, okay, here's a landscape. You know, you see how some of these textures look quite disgusting because they've been enlarged and stuff. If you zoom in on quite a few different concept arts that work like this, even super professional ones that you'll see in movies and stuff, like, it looks just as bad. It's insane. It's insane how bad half of the commercial AAA work is out there. It's insane. There you go. Here's me being like, man, that fountain has to go. Waterfall. Trying to make up for that very poor colour selection at the start. It's not working out. Plus it needs to be super dark down there. Not super dark, but you know. I'll go back to that later as well with the brush and try to fix it up. Never really made those trees blend in properly. Didn't take too long either. This whole piece was just over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. You know, shorter than your average Pokemon Go walk. I kind of want to do it again, like right now. Just to have another landscape. Just have another thing to be like, oh look, I did this. It's, yeah, I was listening to a video last night? Yeah, last night, where it was describing how sometimes you don't want to draw because you're like, you can't picture the carrot on the end of the stick. I felt pretty good to hear because I was like, oh shit. That is pretty much the point where you do want to draw, is when you picture that. Made a lot more sense. Yeah, I chuck in these clouds, and then eventually like I just paint over all of it because I'm like, nah, these clouds don't work. I didn't understand how to get the perspective in there properly. I'll watch the tutorial a bit more closely. I think I understand it more now. Worst case scenario, I'll just go back in and do it up. Watch the tutorial again. There's lots of tutorials. Tutorials everywhere. If you want to learn something, it's just available, man. That was cool, how I blended that in. Unfortunately, I don't keep it, but yeah. I could go back into this photo and do so much more by the time it's done as well. You can see there's like, by this point, there's stuff happening, at least. Like, it's a mess, but there's still at least stuff happening. Yeah, it's a decent enough spot for that. When I was looking at it just then, and I think back when I was putting it back in, I was going to put it on the other mountain, essentially the same way. Mountain off to the right there. Yeah, it looks a bit better. You can see that top left cloud, just, well, top right now. Top right cloud just looks nasty. Like, it does not belong there. Like, it looks alright, but, you know, by itself. Finally found a mountain to put it on along the path here. It wasn't the best mountain. I could have looked for a better one. It's just it looked cool because it had that plateau right at the end, where the archway is. Instead of the pathway, it's more like a, what would you call that? Drain. I'm trying to make these mountains work in the distance, and I'll eventually get to the point where, like, wait, no, they're not distant enough. More hills rather than mountains. Learning is good. Here we go. Fixing. Nearly there. Yeah, you can see I'm really suffering at this point. Like, the darker parts, they look alright. All the brighter parts, the colours are just bad. It's all cyan for no good reason. There's nothing much I can do about it now without just doing too much work. So I kind of stuck with it, with the idea in the back of my head that I'd eventually merge all the layers. just redo the colours again, all at the same time, which I do, and if you've taken a good glance at the thumbnail, you'll see it actually worked out. It did work out. Well, the journey was not fantastic. Yeah, we're starting to get to a point now where you can be like, is that... Like, if you were to smudge one eye, you know, sort of deal, you'd be like, that's not a real place, is it? Here we go. Here we go. Now it's fixing it. Going over the clouds again. Starting to look better. Trust me, it looks better when it's smaller and pixelated. As does quite a few things. Here we go. Here's all the brushwork. Saving the day. I need to go over that waterfall. It's too bright. Like, it's nice, but... actually, do I? I'm pretty sure I do, but... Do I actually need to do that? Was that too much? Yeah, that hill to the left, I don't know. It's too much definition. I fixed that tree to the top right there, yeah. I nearly lost that. Here we go. Look at that. The highlights around the mountain. That's great. That is great. That looks good. Alright, I'm more impressed by this now than I was when I first finished it, for sure. Not that it's incredibly impressive, it's just an hour of work. Here we go, auto contrast. Yes, computer, do work for me. Alright, we're just about to merge. Here I am figuring out that I needed to merge. Like, I knew I did, but I was just like, oh, maybe. Okay, here we go, here's the merge, here's the colour. Look at that! Get that cyan out of there. There's still some parts that are not behaving, but yeah, the colours, you know, it's better. It's better. Like, it's not perfect. Tell you what, it ain't perfect, but it's better.